Flight Club Central. Let's go. You got to understand, when the point guard rewards you the ball and you do something with it, it looks like this. So this is the specs of this character, Zion Williams. I hope you guys pause the video and check it out. Copy those and you will get this same similar build. And likewise, you could tune it, fine tune it, do what you want to do with it. But Karl Malone, Julius Randle, and Jason Tatum, very good basketball players. Two-way, mid-range slasher. Chicago Bulls, #1. Make sure you go there. Zion Williams is the guy right now. I'm not even going to talk to you guys anything about anything more. Zion Williams is that guy. Here are how exactly it looks when you see it, when you're upgrading for the first time. I was able to upgrade it, get my badges on silver from getting my rebirth, and this is how I went amongst it and did it. I gave it a very similar field. I can't wait until Zion gets that mid-range into his loadout. And next, this is actually how the character moves in the game. Copy this, pause the video, and check it out. And we are now going to get into the rec and show you exactly what it can do. This game has Kobe Bryant, Jason Tatum, and Halliburton himself. You know, they might look a little bit different, you know what I mean? But for the most part, you guys are seeing similarities. We are playing this team, you know, in the rec, and we are trying to see what we can be able to do as a team. I queued up on randoms and made sure that I was good enough to come in here. Averaging 13 points, hopefully hoping to get more tonight. And for the most part, you know what I mean, just doing normal things, passing the ball to the point guard as a big man and playing the power forward spot. This game traditionally is better when you're playing with IQ-friendly people. When you're playing with people who know how to cut certain times, or they play your story mode, my career story mode, they understand going into practice. Following the drills are very, very important, because when you do them in a game, it only makes your character better, because externally, when you're looking at the scenario type has to happen the same way for things to unlock itself. The one thing that I would tell you is the IQ that I have is very, very decent. I can't wait until my character starts to pass the ball a little bit better and I start adding attributes when I need to add to my passing. But driving is what Zion Williams does. Getting to the rack is what Zion Williams does. And making the defense have to collapse and then kicking the ball out and giving them those fouls that they need, so when they, you know, you get other players who get hit, they got moments where things go their way. You just seen a Zion Williams block to just start off the game. The score is 4-0, and it's the first quarter, and we're moving throughout the game. This game right here is traditionally not something that you guys would typically see on a scoreboard, but when you got guys who are very unselfish, like Halliburton was very unselfish, the one who's playing the point guard spot. You got Kobe Bryant being Kobe Bryant. You got Jason Tatum being Jason Tatum, hitting threes, taking it to the rack, and just making those things happen. Things turn out to be so good. And you know what Zion Williams brings? He brings highlight reels, and he puts on, he demoralizes teams, and he just makes guys not really want to play defense on him because they're getting beaten up by him every single time. And if you know a ground and pound game, you watch UFC, you're going to see a lot of people get taken down a lot. That strength, that power, and putting you on the ground, forcing you, taking you, lifting you, taking you, it really puts a toll on the body. And even boxers know it. I heard guys like Booker talk about, you know what I mean, taking a boxing class, I think it was, where, you know, stamina was very much something that he needed to do, and just staying in the fight. The fight is what makes you a better player and makes you the player that you want to be. You know what I mean? For the most part, a lot of players in this game got a lot of great highlights. There was a lot of three-point shooting. There was a lot of taking to the hole, from what you guys can see. Guys were very much keeping their energy up. There was back and forth. There was rallies. Like, there was tennis. There was a lot of great moments. You know what I mean? Unselfishness. And there was a lot of great shots that went up. This game hardly has any bad looking shots. And I'm telling you, when I mean hardly ever badly, I want you to really look at the game for what it is and look at the scenario types as what you see it is and see exactly how open shots look. This game felt like the sliders or the catch up meter was not coming back because you know what I mean the comeback kit was not working for them tonight. The comeback kit was not working for them tonight. As soon as we found a role, I'm playing with randoms again. We're trying to figure out each other. We found and we clicked in the first quarter. When we clicked in the first quarter, we understood one another's best expertise after a period of time. From what you could see, I did try that the first time and missed, and then in the highlights you see me do it in there and I have completed. So get ready to see some great highlights coming up. And I could tell you, man, this guy who was playing like Halliburton actually understood the vision that most passers have, passing the ball to open players that are worthy and openly open themselves to getting buckets. You know what I mean? That is like very important. That is so important, especially when it comes down to having vision. And right now, Halliburton is pretty much the best passer in the league right now when it comes down to the point guard. We've seen guys like Jokic, who has pretty much done that for pretty much good time. Jokic, we had Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is another good-looking passer. We have guys like LeBron James, who's a really good passer, and not to leave out one more person, but there's one more person I'm thinking about that is really good at passing. But I'm kind of like having a little stump right now. But there's a lot of great passers in the league that have been doing a lot of great things. Like James Harden is right now figuring on himself. Westbrook was a really still a good passer and still could be a good passer who could average 10 assists willingly and givingly through the scenario types. And I know you're like, why are you talking about those players and stuff like that? But you know what I mean? When you're watching this game, I hope you're looking at how players are finding themselves to get open and find their shots. They're not trying to take contested shots as much. They're looking to get the best quality shot. And I mean, quality is more better than quantity. Quality. These guys were communicating with each other. They were letting each other know how they were reacting to certain things. This group was yelling out certain plays. They were saying flash here, stay low on this screen. We were locked in so highly. And I would have wished that I could have gotten it recorded. But for the most part, for the near future, I will take off my thing where it keeps the sound from the chat room not to play it in the background because of the fact that some guys actually do play music. And for YouTube or content creators like many of us, we know that music in the background will jeopardize our film on how we are trying to get the best for the viewer to watch this and not be copyrighted. Being copyrighted in YouTube is not that fun because you don't get the best out of that whole video, but you could still put it up and people could still view it. Some people could still always comment and enjoy it. You know what I mean? Really just enjoy it in general. But you want to do it. You want to profit off of your ability to just have great footage. And that's what I was trying to be able to do. And it was kind of hard because I really wanted to keep it in there, but because I already did it from the get-go, I was like, these guys are great guys. They were great guys, and I'm telling you, they were great guys. The common knowledge between these guys were unparalleled to this team, this matchup of the team. The white team, the home team, is playing to survive. They're really playing to survive. And if you could see, what can you see that they were doing wrong with each other, and how could you stop that from happening in a game? You know what I mean? The quality that I brought to it was communication. These guys were getting rattled. Their teammates was getting rattled. They were calling timeouts. They were getting frustrated. They were not getting overly frustrated. They were just getting frustrated. Guys were using more stamina than usual. Guys who don't have 99 stamina, we'll see a bigger difference in decline when it comes down to stamina when you're using it and using it often. I just hit Elite 2 starter too, and I can get to using my extra bar that I never have to work for ever again. It's a blessing to have it again too. Working and grinding is something that I like to do on 2K. 2K is a really decent game, but it has its flaws. I get upset knowing and watching and playing with guys who don't have IQ. Defensive 3 seconds in the key, you know what I mean? Very good to have moments where you're not driving and you could stay on the perimeter. And you always want to realize something that I'm going to tell you, something special that I want to tell you. Um, a player never knows if you can shoot until you can shoot. This build, you can shoot mid ranges, and you're not going to be able to shoot the three a lot. But if you are guaranteed open, if I say you are guaranteed open with your takeover badge, you will most likely hit one of these threes in your lifetime with this build. This is a build that Zion Williamson is actually somebody that he can actually do something. You know what I mean? On the offensive end, when it comes down to spreading the court, giving players not the ability to just keep sitting on the paint in it on him. They actually have to guard him up and put pressure on him. I have Maestro. I have Open Look. I have Green Machine on Gold. All these badges to help him out in the game, perfect all these mid-range jump shots and hassle the defense. The one thing that I would like to say is, he could have passed it to me on that fast break and made it much more easier for himself. But looking at the scenario type, things happen for a reason, and you gotta always see it for what it is. When you're staying active and you're moving and you're giving them options, it only gives you options for the next play to do something right with it. You know what I mean? Um, Giving yourself more than one ability to get open is really good. Like freeing yourself on the 3 point line, giving yourself driving lanes. I felt like we were playing football. We were doing the quarterback was making the plays, and all you had to do was get there and then put it in the rim. It felt that smooth, and when it feels like that, games feel so much more good. I know people say, why don't you use your dunk meter? I'm starting to perfect this game a little bit, and when I mean perfect this game, I mean adding towards the arsenal of my exploration about this game, like just exploring mechanics and button clicking. You know what I mean? When I get more comfortable with it, I will use it more times than often. I know people say, it's a hard time. You won't see yourself missing stuff like that. I be trying to do it. You know what I mean? I be trying to hit the mechanics and trying to hit that, but it's not working on my controller. I might need to get a new controller. You know what I mean? I might need to get a new controller. But for now, I'm going to utilize the controller I have right now, and you guys can see that I should have was dunked it on him right there off a meter, but I pulled away and ran another play. We got 19 on the shot clock. Utilizing the shot clock is really good. As a power forward, setting off-ball screens to open guys like your shooting guards and your small forward to freeing them up when you are trying to fill another gap and say, you're on the hash, come to the corner. I will set you a screen. You know what I mean? Like in practice, or say that. We never even had practice. We just had like we were watching body language. Body language was very important in this game. Anybody who was showing really good body language deserved the ball. From what you guys can see, the Kobe Bryant build, he was actually locking into scoring. He was literally focusing on scoring. And you could tell that he was a beast at doing it because he knew exactly how to free up space. Especially watching NBA 2K Labs where they say Jamal Murray, the behind the back in certain times is very good. A very good move to free up space. You could see that the point guard got a little bit of skills. He did the right to left, left to right, kind of moment. He did it behind the back. I'm trying to clog the lane so that I'm stopping people from actually jumping in there and feeling like you could do whatever in there and just waltzing in there, because we do have a big man and he is an AI. But remember, AIs don't gravitate to blocking shots. They don't jump a lot. And when you got an AI that's jumping in the sky, believe me, you have something to utilize, man. You got something effectively that you need to utilize, because why is he jumping if he didn't believe you can make that shot? You know what I mean? That's the type of understanding that you got to have. You know what I mean? When shooters are shooters, they have all these abilities. When people jump and leave their feet, their reaction is knowing that they thought they were going to shoot. They sold them on the shot. And you can see Kobe Bryant himself, the young Kobe Bryant that came to the league with his afros here. Look, you know what I mean? He has 18 points in the first half with shooting at 86 field goal percentage. That is a very, very high percentage to start any type of game and finish the game. Okay, so just to let you know, these are things that can turn you from being a B plus to a plus. You know what I mean? And these little things can help you and your grade level increasingly increase. You know what I mean? But again, I was very, very enlightened. This Halliburton style character had so much vision. He had so much vision. I mean, he was really looking at players for what they were worth and what you already do. He did not want to take away from what you don't do good. He wanted to show you that you still should have fun in a game, that they remember how you play. You know what I mean? You should be having fun on how you play. You know what I mean? And this point guard, man, he was tremendous. He was tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. But remember, I'm going to say one thing. The point guard on the opposite team was actually putting up a fight. He was actually putting up a fight. Listen to me. From what you guys can see, the game was hovering around, obviously giving it to Halliburton, and Halliburton was finding guys. Nobody had an answer for Jason Tatum. He was shooting threes. He was moving in the paint. He was doing everything. They had no question for this guy. They had no question. No question for this guy. He was just one of those guys that had the freedom to do whatever he wants and had a breakout game. All of us had a breakout game. All of us had a breakout game. But when you're seeing how the game was going, a lot of people were contesting. You could see how the ball was moving. This is what happens when I say teams need to understand this 2K method. If you have something easy that can make the scoreboard move up by 10 points, 20 points, 30 points, 40 points, utilize it, because what happens is people in this game gets very complacent. And when I mean complacent, I mean they know you can score that play every single time. They don't want you to keep scoring that. Now, if you had a Halliburton or Magic Johnson or a LeBron James or a Chris Paul identity understanding about passing, you will know you need those buckets to take the biggest margin in the game. Most people do not stay around to lose by 30, 40 points. We beat this team by at least 60 points. That means we did not take our foot off the pedal. We were accelerating and moving fast. If you are someone who knows NASCARs, Formula Ones, street racing, racing is all about time frame and speed. So slowing down the game only jeopardizes exactly what you're trying to do when it comes down to getting accurate buckets. Why do you think people get scored on? They're not quick enough to react. That's what happens. And Halliburton seen that in this game when we were playing. He was doing emojis. He was feeling himself. He was enjoying playing, passing, scoring, and feeling the freedom of playing the game. He didn't want to feel like we had to keep on hustling to score a bucket, because it gets really nerve-wracking. If anybody knows anything about real life, the scary thing about playing any sport is that you have to go back and forth with someone, knowing it was just by a minor glitch, a minor phase situation, you can lose by 1 point. Everything gets microscopic at that point. Most coaches say, do you want to lose by 1 point or do you want to lose by 20 points? Because when you lose by 1 point, it only took one person to give up on a play to lose the game, to lose by 20 points. It was a rally of plays after plays after plays and outworking a person to lose by 20. So you know you have something to go back on the drawing board and work on. But when you lose by one, there was a reason. There was a reason. And when they watch film, they're going to see who took their foot off the pedal. And you don't want to be that guy in that moment. You do not want to be that guy in that moment. You know why? That stereotypes can make and break people's career. That's why when you see clutch players like Kobe Bryant, who have the ball in the last quarters of the game, and he's scoring, and he hits the game winner, like how he hit the game winner on Phoenix when Steve Nash was there. Those are iconic moments, because you can have an Anthony Edwards moment in the playoff. The ball gets passed to him. He's open for a shot. He takes it and he misses it. And all he can do was hold on to his jersey and run out of the building and getting ready for the locker room because the game is over. So please understand me when I say this. I had moments in this game where teams have gave me the moment to tie the game and hit a clutch shot. And it's not that I didn't choke. I have moments where I just felt like the rhythm of the game actually pretty much sucked. Basketball is rhythm. If the rhythm feels good, the passing feels good, the understanding of spacing feels good, and they see how you're standing there. You're using Claymore, you're using open, you're using open look, or that look open. You know, you're using those badges and you're utilizing those. You might have it on gold, you might have it on Hall of Fame, you might have it on silver. You're utilizing them. And people realize that, like this guy right here, your game will transist to being effective. Because you know why? Being overlooked kills rhythm. You see, Kobe Bryant is stealing the ball. You see, he was open for an open shot. Now he gets it. Look what he does with it. Look what he does with it. Look what he does with it. This guy's insane. I don't care what nobody says. When you talk about confidence and you talk about using your controls to get you to where you need to do, I call it premeditated moves. Knowing how to get there before you get there and knowing what you're going to do with it. Like that. Now I know what, you know what I mean? I'm a random player with this guy named Halliburton. I'm a random player with this guy, right? I didn't think he was going to throw an alley-oop at the first time when he threw it, but I know Zion Williams is known for catching alley-oops, and his alley-oop rate is at a Hall of Fame because he knows how to finish. But when he passed it the second time, I actually really did get ready for it. And you can see that Jason Tatum is playing the passing lanes. I'm trying to finish around the buckets. I'm making sure I'm shielding myself off. I'm using my fearless finisher. I'm just making shots. You know what I mean? I'm just making shots and trying to knock them down. This is what I'm talking about. When you find good teams like this and reminisce in these moments, some people play with guys like this all the time. But your boy YouTube, Chris Dash, you know what I mean? I don't really get to see these guys most likely. And I'm always trying to bunk with these guys and play with these guys so I can show you the best when it comes down to knowing the sport itself. Doing a 5-out, knowing how to run a 3-2 zone, how to run a 3-2 zone. How to run a 1-3-1, how to focus on when you're in a zone, you got to watch the middle for a 2-3. When you're a 3-2, you got to watch the corners. When you're a 1-3-1, you got to watch the hash and the baseline. Understanding certain things are very, very important to your knowledge of your growth. And if I tell you again, you know what I mean, you could even see it. Kobe Bryant ends up putting on the badge for playmaking. He wanted his handles to be a little bit more sharp because when he opens up space and he ankle breaks people, he's going to create a lot of space on his shot. And honestly, man, this guy Kobe Bryant was making everything in the game. He was making everything in the game. Um, this guy was really intuitive into his controls, understanding his spacing is very important. And this Halliburton guy, we didn't force his issue. We didn't yell at him. We didn't say anything crazy from what you can say. I was very, very, very quiet. I was very quiet, understanding it. I was a casual player. From what you can see, I have made multiple builds. They're going to be shown in the near future, and I want to show you guys them and show you the great moments of this character. Zion Williams deserves to have a name out there in the game where he does something good and be rewarded for something good. So I wanted to show you guys how I was able to do this and do the whole curl up and get his flex on. You know what I mean? Show a little bit of stunt game because Zion Williams does have likability when it comes down to showing a 1-2 flex on the court. You know what I mean? It is something that people want to see. People pay to see him do something immensely amazing on his clock, and you know what I mean. And remember, when you are a fan of the sport or a fan who comes to the game for the first time, and you see this player all over the place, you know what I mean, on screens, on your screens when you're going to your arena, you see them on posters, billboards, and all these things. You want to see why they're so special, right? And Zion Williams is a special talent when it comes down to it. When you see him, you are going to see a high flyer, someone who can jump and most definitely have a vertical. He's going to show you size. He's going to show you coordination. He's going to show you a little bit of footwork, and he's going to show you how to be in the driver's seat, holding the ball and working with the ball. And his credibility is based off of how he gets his shots off with his right and left hand. It's going to be something that you're going to be able to see when you get to watch this kid. This kid is amazing. This kid is a human being who is a young man in the game. And why I say kid, he's still young. And when you make a person feel young, he still has time to grow. He has a lot of time to grow. We don't miss a shot until the end of the game. And when the buzzer sounds, the buzzer sounds, and we don't miss a shot. I want you guys to watch the stat board and pause the video when you guys see the scoreboard and see exactly how dominant was. It's going to open your eyes to show you exactly how far gone this game was when it came down to scoring, freeing up space, knowing how players play, watching body language, and believing in one another to get their shots to be looking good for them. Because remember, when you're taking quality shots, they go in. And here it is. They lost by 60 points. If you do the math and you subtract what they scored to what we scored, 60 points. Jason Tatum is going to be the face who won the MVP of the game with 35 points. And there was two people who scored 30 points, two people who scored 25 points, and the percentages are through the roof. I got a 92% at the field goal. I was able to get a big boost. Performance was looking immense. And again, I hope to see you guys with another video coming up in the near future with Zion Williams, and hopefully hope to score more points. But for now, this is it.